Hey everyone, happy Monday. Angela here. If you are new to me, I am a success coach for women. I'm a licensed clinical social worker. I've had over 11 years experience in the field of human behavior, psychology, studying and supporting people to, improve their behaviors, reach their goals, live a life that they want to live. So I want to know who's on with me today. If you're on, hello, say hello in the comments. Tell me where you're from, how it's going today. Today what I want to talk to you about is what to do right now if you are currently burned out. So I remember having multiple jobs in my life, multiple times where I truly felt the burnout. And it was really hard sometimes because when you're in it, you've got your blinders on, you're focused. And maybe when you're operating from more of a masculine energy, more of an achiever energy, that's me, that's my default pattern. I am achiever hardcore. So when you're operating from that energy and that pattern, sometimes it's hard to see the forest through the trees, to understand that you're like gridlocked in that burnout. And, sometimes it takes some big signs for us to realize. Hey, Jessica. Nice to see you on. So what I want to try to point out first is some of the ways that we can notice that we're in burnout. So when I have many jobs where I got to that point or worked myself to that point. I always had these bigger dreams. I wanted to have my own business. I wanted to have financial freedom. So that's part of my goals. So I was always working toward that, whether that was taking on extra work. There was a couple of times in my life where I worked 3 jobs at once and worked like every single day of the week. Long hours, gave up sleep. It was rough. And the ways that I was able to personally snap out of that was to realize the toll that it was taking on me physically. So I want to know how you experience burnout. For me, it's understanding the level of exhaustion, the level of illness. So I'm typically a pretty healthy person, knock on wood, right? But seeing that physical illness manifest in body aches, tension, tightness, all in my neck, my shoulders, my back, migraines. I was physically getting ill and I normally didn't, had to call out of work a lot, right? So that was kind of how my burnout manifested for me, but I'd love to know how that manifests for you. And then also, I was sharing this the other day, but after talking with a couple of friends, and we had both been in these particular jobs, we actually worked at one job together where we were so burnt out, and by the end of it, a lot of the helping fields, and I would love to know if we have helping fields, nurses, teachers, social workers, counselors, right? We can get burned out really quick because we are pouring into people every single day. We're balancing customer service with support and being on top of our game, but we're pouring all of that into somebody else, and we're not a lot of times taking a step back to check in with our own self. So after talking with that friend, we were realizing that the burnout was more evident in other ways, but we couldn't see it at the time. So for us, it was, my friend said to me, you called me up on the phone, we had a conversation, I knew you were there, but you weren't really there, right? It was that disconnection. It was that always having that running to-do list that I've got to go, I've got to do something, I've got to keep active. So that's kind of some of the subtle ways that I was experiencing that burnout too. It was that physical exhaustion. It was that emotional exhaustion. It was really hard to connect with somebody else and give my all, even in my alone time, my downtime, right, my connection time with others, because I just didn't have it. So if you're burned out right now, I want to offer you a couple of things that you can do. But I first want you to get into a place where you're comfortable. Take a couple cleansing breaths. Because I want you to get into a spot where you can kind of think about something for a second. And I want you to think about, what is the dream? What is your dream? What do you want out of this life? And I'm asking you this because this is so important. I've seen so many people go through the motions. They went to school, they got the good grades. This is my story too. Got the good grades, got the degrees or whatever it was, the trainings, their certifications, and got to this place of employment or this job or this field or career, and it wasn't a good fit for them. Whether that was the work culture, whether that was the structure, of the field, whether that was the long hours, whatever that was, the expectations, the micromanaging, whatever element, it wasn't a good fit. And, sometimes there's external factors to that, right? We have to acknowledge these external factors, workplace, leadership. I don't know if you've heard that statistic, but it's like people don't quit, a lot of the times because of what they're paid, or, it's because of poor leadership and management. So raise your hand in the comments if that's something that you've ever experienced. But it can be really, really difficult. I've experienced that more than once, where poor leadership really impacted my experience. I couldn't grow as a professional to the extent that I wanted to, and that impacts the quality of work that you put out too. But what I want you to do, we aren't made to sit here and come and work this 8 to 5 or 9 to 5 every single day, grind it out, and not go after our dreams and our wants. So first of all, I want to know, what is it that you want out of your life, right? Life is both too short and too long to not know and not be doing the things that we want to be doing. So what is it that you want? It could be that you want to be a veterinarian. It could be that you want to be a volunteer at a local hospital. It could be that you want to own your own business, right? Whatever that calling is, I want you to sit for a second and think about, what is it that you want out of life? Do you want to be famous? Do you want to be influential? Do you want to help people? What is it that's calling to you right now? So I want you to sit for a second, just tune in to your body, and just give yourself a moment to answer that question. And it could be, right, a lot of different things. It could be a lot of different things that you want out of life. That's totally fine. It could be completely opposite of what you're doing right now. So if it is something different than what you're doing now, I want you to notice that. And I want you to ask yourself, am I having burnout? Am I having stress because I'm not in alignment with my dreams and my goals, my true dreams, desires, and goals, right? That's number one. Step number one, let's become aware of what you want out of this life, and let's see how close you are in what you're doing right now on a day-to-day basis, right? On a daily basis. So once you've thought of that, I want you to take another couple of cleansing breaths. And I want you to tell yourself, it's okay. It's okay if that's not aligned. It's awesome if you're aligned. That's so great. If you're not aligned right now, you're probably burnt out. Right? There's no energy, left in that bucket. And again, alignment doesn't have to mean that, you're not in the right field. It might be you're in the wrong position or organization or whatever. That's okay too. But I want you to give yourself that grace and, hey, it's okay. We're going to figure this out, right? So knowing that if this career, this job, this place that you're in is in alignment, great. If not, we will work on that further. I'll give you some resources for that. And then being able to kind of take some breaths and say, hey, this is okay. We're able to change what we don't like, right? Giving yourself permission to do that. And what I want to offer you today is, here are the things to do when you are burned out. It's allowing yourself to take that step back. So as I shared earlier, for me, when I was in that thick of it, in the mud of it, right, in the really going hard with that achiever attitude and personality that I have, it was really hard for me to see all of the effects of burnout that burnout had on me. And I want you just to give yourself some time. So take some time, 30 minutes, preferably a day, a weekend, away from everyday stuff, everyday stressors or life or work, whatever that is. And I want you to start listening to you. Listen to yourself. Listen to the desires that come up. Listen to the things that come up when you ask yourself the question, what is it that you want? What is it that you need? You're saying that to yourself. I want you to ask yourself that, and I want you to listen for the answer, and I want you to write those things down. So again, number one, what is it that you want? 2, are you in alignment with it? 3, I want you to ask yourself what it is that you want and your need right now. Maybe it's baby steps. Maybe it's some ice cream. Maybe it's water. Maybe it's lunch, right? I want you to be able to start that conversation with yourself of asking yourself what you want and need. And then the next pieces are going to be creating a plan to give that to yourself, right?